Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. I'm your host, the Fellow KGB. You can follow me on Twitter at the Fellow KGB. And tonight, Wednesday, January 13th, it's almost 5:30. I got live a little bit early here. We're going to be going over the playoff games this weekend. We got four really, really good games. The divisional round here, I have my start-sit charts filled out. I'll probably cover this weekend. I'm not doing a Saturday show. I'm going to be headed to Chicago on Friday. But before I leave, we'll kind of dip back in and we'll do another NFL show. Tomorrow night's show will be all about fantasy basketball, so please save your questions, whatever you need for that. I know James Harden just got traded, so we'll have a little bit more reaction time for tomorrow, I think. But for tonight, we're going to be looking at the start-sit charts for the divisional round games. I did put some interesting links here if you guys are interested in some sports betting or some, perhaps some player prop bets or things like that. So that's the Bovada link here. If you're not in a state where DraftKings is legal. And then there's the drafters link, which we'll get to at the end, because I think I'd like to draft a team here for the weekend too and show you guys how that works. So we're looking at the first game here on Saturday, 3:35 p.m. Central Time. We got those 6-seed Rams going to Green Bay. This one's kind of interesting. Let me actually pull up first. We're going to probably just take a peek at the practice reports. Now, because this game is on Saturday, essentially these teams are basically like in their Thursday schedule of the typical week here. So we do have 2 days of practice reports. So we'll start here first with the Rams. They're a little bit dinged up coming into this one. It was a really impressive game against Seattle here, but you see a lot of do not practicing. They're trying to stay fresh as they can. So I think tomorrow will be a really good indicator of who's in and who's out. And then, of course, Friday we'll know a lot better then. I don't expect a full I don't know if they're doing a full Friday practice. That's probably a walkthrough and then a travel day to get to Green Bay for Saturday. So the big names here, Aaron Donald is questionable. He's not practicing Tuesday or Wednesday with that rib injury. I'm assuming he's going to go tomorrow if he gets a limited day, and that'll confirm those thoughts there. Jared Goff, back-to-back full practices, so he's going to start. That's really good news for the Rams side. Cooper Kupp, though, this is the one to watch that I've been really curious about. I don't know if Cooper Kupp's going to play, and at the moment right now, I'd probably trend towards no. Back-to-back did not practices Tuesday and Wednesday. He's got bursitis in his knee, which is not great coming into a game where we're going to need all the Cooper Kupp points and all the stats and the numbers that he usually provides. So he doesn't look like he's going to play this weekend. Tomorrow, if he gets a limited day in, we'll see how his knee reacts by Friday. So keep an eye on Cooper Kupp here, Terrell Lewis, Simba Webster. Andrew Whitworth, this one's interesting here, limited. So I guess he's got a knee injury. He's probably just taking it easy and making sure he stays on track to play. And then John Walford with the neck not practicing. I don't know if we're even going to see him suit up. So the Rams, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, big names to watch there. We'll also see about the linebacker, Terrell Lewis. I think he's their starting inside linebacker here, did not practice both days. Also an offensive guard here, David Edwards. So the Rams are a little bit dinged up. On the Green Bay side, coming off of a bye week, they are relatively healthy. Only one player not practicing, I guess 2 players. It looks like Mercedes Lewis here did not practice. He was limited yesterday, so this might be more of a Veterans Day off. But Kingsley Keke, one of their defensive end pass rushers here, but it looks like Kevin King limited, Alan Lazard limited, Zadarius Smith limited, Equanimous St. Brown limited, and Ricky Wagner limited here. And they did just put Jared Valdir, their new signing, who was on the Colts last weekend. He was supposed to be the first NFL player to suit up for 2 different teams in the NFL playoffs, and he's been put on the COVID list, so not good for that. Maybe we'll see him for the next round if Green Bay were to make it. But Rick Wagner's probably going to be leaned on here. He's been questionable so far here with 2 straight limiteds with that knee injury. But for Green Bay, this actually doesn't look too bad. There's no major pieces to the offense or defense that are likely to miss. So let's take a peek here. Now, when I set this up, of course, I have, the start sits and basically where I'm starting them at. But the fantasy points allowed column, now this is all numbers from the regular season here. And you see there's a lot of red here. There's only one green matchup to take advantage of, and that's the Packers rush defense here. But this is a number that's been trending. It's basically, it was 32nd for the most part of the year, came down to 30, 31. And then all of a sudden now they're starting to get to 28th. So if I just pull up and let's just take a look here, because if the Rams are going to win, you're going to need a very efficient day from Jared Goff. You're going to need a really good game probably out of Cam Akers, and we'll see if Malcolm Brown can help in that department as well. But I just want to kind of pull up. So we're just going to filter by PPR. We do see the Packers, they finished, I guess if I flip it, they did finish 28th against the running backs this season. And of course, they didn't play last week. So let's just take a peek and see what they've been allowing the last few games. So David Montgomery, 22 carries, 69 yards. He did get a touchdown and also caught 9 for 63. So I think that's going to be a number where Cam Akers is going to be able to help, because it looks like, just the last month and a half, the Packers defense has actually been compressing running backs from scoring a lot of yards and points. You see Derrick Henry, 23 for 98. Mike Davis, only 14 for 59. DeAndre Swift and the Lions, this was kind of a weird game, 7 for 24, but that was probably Green Bay's best rush defense effort of the season. Miles Sanders, only 10 for 31. David Montgomery was the last running back to hit over 100 yards, and that was back in week 12. So it's been well over almost a month and a half since Green Bay's allowed a 100-yard rusher. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns in that basically since week 12 here. So they are playing a little bit better on the run defense. They also signed Snacks Damon Harrison. So their run defense is actually not as bad as that green number would indicate that we see here, this 28th ranking. And then everything else on this defensive slate here is red. So how do we think this is going to go? You have kind of a banged up offensive LA Rams coming into Green Bay. I think for the most part, we're starting Aaron Rodgers. He's a top 4 quarter. If you just look at the way I did this was, if you're quarterback 1, you're a top 4 quarterback. If you're QB 2, you're 5 through 8. So Rodgers, I feel confident about him being a top 4 quarterback. Jared Goff, not so much. The Packers, their pass defense is actually really, really good too here. They only allow 15.8 fantasy points to the quarterback. And then since we're talking quarterbacks real quick, of course, we're going to prefer Aaron Rodgers over Jared Goff in this one if you're playing in any DFS kind of lineups here. And if you stay to the end, we're going to do a drafters.com, basically just a mini draft here where you draft your DFS lineup. It's really fun. I think you guys might enjoy it. And I do have a link in the description below where you can get a referral bonus. But I just want to take a peek here at the Packers against the quarterback and just kind of see what they've been doing. So this is with standard 4-point passing touchdowns, 10.3, 16.3, 16.6. So the best quarterback the last 6 weeks of the regular season here was Teddy Bridgewater with 16.9. So they're not allowing a lot. So I think that's going to be kind of where Jared Goff tops out at. And I guess if we go back and look at the Packers, how the last time the Packers lost was week 11 against the Colts. And Phillip Rivers, 24, 36, 288 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So I think for the most part, you're going to need to see a 250-yard plus day out of Jared Goff and at least 2 touchdowns if the Rams do plan on pulling this off. Now, I think Jonathan Taylor had a pretty good game in that game, but no touchdowns. I can't remember if Nyheim Hines had a touchdown either. But that's going to be kind of the recipe. But the Packers, for the most part, they don't allow big quarterback games. And then if we just kind of take a peek here at the Rams, now this one's interesting because I want to see what quarterbacks they've been allowing big games to. So it looks like Russell Wilson, 19.9. That was back in week 16. Kyler Murray, 16.4, not really comparable to Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady, only 12.6, but the Bucs, a little bit different, offensively than the Packers. It looks like Josh Allen had the best day against them. Jimmy Garoppolo had a really efficient day. Even the great Dak Prescott, only 17.6 points against them. So, at the most part, you're probably hoping, for a standard Aaron Rodgers game with at least 2 touchdowns. I think the 3rd touchdown is going to be the question. I'd probably put him at 2.5 for the over-under there. But for the most part, the Rams feasted on not-so-good quarterbacks. You see Streveler, Newton, Mullins. This Wilson one was weird. That's when the offense started to kind of go downward. Tua Tagovailoa, Nick Foles, even Kyle Allen, Daniel Jones. So they really feast. And they're a good defense, but they really did feast on some of the lesser tier quarterbacks. So I think Rodgers is going to be fine. As far as running backs in this one, the Packers, again, they do allow the 28th most fantasy points, but we looked at that trend and how that might not be true. The Rams, though, very, very good all season long, 20.5 fantasy points per game here. I think if I'm looking at this, I might have to move Cam Akers up to a running back 1 because I think he's going to be heavily used in the passing game in this one. So it's going to be really close. If you're looking at Akers versus Aaron Jones, I might have to go with Cam Akers. And then you're basically depending on Aaron Jones to maybe catch a few passes and kind of just get that volume here. So I think I'm going to move Cam Akers actually up to a running back 1. I think he's a top 5 running back this weekend through the 8 teams. But I like both players here. Of course, you're starting Devontae Adams. We don't care that it's Jalen Ramsey. Packers do a good job of moving him around. And then I think just because we're not sure, I got to highlight Cooper Kupp here as red. But Robert Woods is the one guy that I think I would be comfortable with. I don't even know if I'm comfortable with it. Jair Alexander on Robert Woods, Kevin King's done some good things as well. So I'm less confident in Woods, and if Kupp plays, I don't even know if I like that at all. But the one guy that I'm interested in for the Rams, it's Cam Akers. He's going to be the guy that if they win the game, it's going to be a really good Cam Akers game. And even if they lose, I still expect Cam Akers to have himself a pretty good day. If you're looking for a cheaper tight end, Robert Tonyan should be a pretty good option there for you. The Rams, they're 10th against the tight end. The Packers are actually a little bit better. But Tonyan, man, if they're focused on Adams and Jones, Tunyan's been kind of sneaky with those touchdowns this year. Hashtag Pro Bowl snub. But Lazard, MVS, these guys are gambles here. I would put them in the same boat as Cooper Kupp if Kupp plays. Like, we really don't know what's going to happen. I could see MVS making a big play or possibly a big drop or something. And then Alan Lazard, we'll see if he's finally back to 100% after he's been kind of, on and off since his return. I'd rather start the Packers defense in this one. I'd rather start Mason Crosby at home, but even then, compared to all the other kickers, that might be a little bit of a pause with Crosby, because the Packers score touchdowns, but this might be a good defense that limits the touchdowns. So, and then Jamal Williams is really the only guy to maybe think about on the bench, but I don't love it. Higbee, Everett, Reynolds, Malcolm Brown. I don't know if I'm messing with these guys. So this one's coming up Packers for me. I think if you're picking this game straight up, I'm going to go Green Bay. I'm not sure what the lines are. We could look at that on Friday if you guys are interested. I think Friday I'll do my Friday's going to be more of the player props. We'll look at some of the touchdowns and kind of see how that's going. We'll review some of the practice reports as well. But I think the Packers are going to take this one at home against a kind of banged up LA Rams team here. So we'll move on to the Ravens and Bills. Let's pop over to the practice report. We'll start with the road team here, Baltimore Ravens. Again, because this game's on Saturday, these teams are basically in their Thursday of their week here. So Wednesday, this is typically their Thursday, participation. So did not practice Calais Campbell, non-injury. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Mark Ingram, also non-injury, but we're not even concerned about Mark Ingram for fantasy. Matt Judon, illness, though, that's something to keep an eye on. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, hopefully he can get better by Friday. Keep an eye on Matt Judon here. That would be a huge loss for their pass rush and just some of their coverage skills that they do there. And Marcus Peters not practicing with a back-to-back days, no practice. Hopefully he can get something going tomorrow. So a couple defensive pieces here that we're going to keep an eye on. And then DJ Fluker here, questionable with the knee injury. On the Buffalo side, real quick, nobody's been ruled out. Tyler Bass, I'm not sure what he's doing on here, but he got a full practice today. Cole Beasley, limited. Stephon Diggs, limited. Those guys should be fine. Trey Edmonds, questionable with a hamstring. He should be fine. Ed Oliver is one to keep an eye on, though, questionable with an ankle. But I feel pretty good about Buffalo's side here. No one's missing practice, so that's, I guess, besides Daryl Johnson here. But really good sign for Buffalo on their practice reports. And as we just take a peek quick at the reports or at the fantasy points allowed per position here, the Ravens, 2 top 10 matchups against the quarterback and the wide receiver. The Bills do rank 5th against the wide receivers here too. So how do we go about this? The one thing that sticks out, of course, is the bright green 28. So I think if you're picking a tight end this weekend and you want to pivot from Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews is easy call as the second best tight end option. And if this game kind of goes how people think it goes, where Buffalo is probably the favorite, probably going to score, 3 touchdowns at least, add a field goal or 2, that puts this game in the high 20s, you're going to need Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson to throw the ball and hit Marquise and Mark Andrews here. So I really like Mark Andrews. If I'm picking one guy straight up as a flex, give me Mark Andrews because you see here the Bills, that's one spot where they do allow quite a bit of points, and then it goes against the judgment here against the bright red 5. So if you're going with receivers, I think Mark Andrews is just as good of an option, and I would probably play Mark Andrews at flex over guys like Lazard, MVS, Kupp. Give me Andrews over Tonyan as well. And then just looking at the Ravens real quick, Lamar, if not, number 3 quarterback at worst, I think he's a must play in most lineups as well. J.K. Dobbins should have himself a pretty nice day on the ground as well. I think he scored and maybe had 10 or so fantasy points, so not a huge day last week. But the Bills, they do rank 20th against the running back, so that could be taken advantage of there. So we'll see if they can establish the run early. In terms of comfortability, I'm fine with Lamar. I'm good with J.K. Dobbins. I love Mark Andrews. Marquise Brown didn't have the best game last week, but I'm open to him as a wide receiver 3 flex. Probably not going to use the Baltimore Ravens defense. We did see some of those top guys banged up a little bit, and Buffalo's offense is just too hot. I kind of did a split with the kickers because I just think both kickers deserve to be in consideration for top kicker of the week here, besides Harrison Butker probably. But Tucker, Bass, I think if I'm going to lean with the team, I think I would lean with Buffalo. It's at home. They are favored to win. I'm not messing with Gus Edwards, Miles Boykin, or Snead. For Buffalo, Josh Allen, he's if not the 2, I think he could be the 1 this week for quarterback rankings. I think I'm only taking Patrick Mahomes over Josh Allen, and then it's really close between Allen and Lamar. But give me Allen. I'd like that passing upside with the rushing touchdown upside. Zach Moss is not going to play in this one. So that leaves Devin Singletary all by himself. They do have TJ Yeldon. There's another name that I can't think of at the moment right now, but this is going to be a Devin Singletary 80% plus snap game. So Singletary, he becomes very valuable as an RB2 this week. He could be a potential top 5 running back amongst the 8 teams if he does get a touchdown. But again, because we don't have Zach Moss, our banger, inside the 5, inside the 10, Josh Allen rushing touchdown, I'm going to be hitting that prop pretty good this week. And then Stephon Diggs, go ahead, continue starting Diggs. I think the questions come with Cole Beasley, John Brown, and Gabriel Davis. If I'm starting one in PPR, give me Cole Beasley. And then I like that John Brown was on the field a lot last week. I don't like the 0 catches on 4 targets. So maybe it's a good day to go back to the well with John Brown. He had that massive Week 17 game. I think it's probably a good idea to whip out Gabriel Davis or John Brown as one of your big boom bust plays in your DFS lineups. But I'm going to lean John Brown. Again, bad game last week. I think that could snap back. I might start the Buffalo Bills defense. Probably not. I think I'm going to avoid defenses in this game. And then I think that pretty much covers all that one. So this one's really fun. I'm really glad they put this as the Saturday nightcap. Ravens Bills. This one could go either way. I'm going to lean with the Buffalo Bills in this one, but I'm not going to be surprised if Baltimore wins. Just looking, can we see a game spread here? Ravens, Bills spread. Let me see here. So if Bills by 2.5 here, over-unders at 50 points. So that's kind of interesting. Again, I think most people are going to be favoring the Buffalo side as well. So we'll move on here to the Browns Chiefs. The Browns are a great story. I just don't know if we're going to have much of a big exciting game this week against the Chiefs. Let's just pull up the Browns practice reports real quick. They get their head coach back. That's a really good piece there. Jack Conklin, we have to watch him. This offensive line was dinged up last week, and I just think the Chiefs might take advantage of this. So not practicing Jack Conklin, BJ Goodson, linebacker, David Njoku not practicing. In terms of limited practicing, Myles Garrett, I think he'll be okay. Sheldon Richardson, limited. Wyatt Teller, offensive guard. He was the one that left, I think, at some point last week. And then J.C. Treader, questionable with a knee. But, man, that's 3 starters on the offensive line that might be iffy to play. A couple guys full practice here. I don't need to mention those guys here. So we're watching that offensive line for Cleveland. That's their bread and butter. They played well last weekend, but who knows? Pittsburgh was a pretty weird in a weird funk lately. So on the Chiefs side, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is limited. He might be back this week. He's the cover of the video. So if you are a Clyde Edwards-Helaire fan, it looks like he's going to be back. So we're excited about that. Guys not practicing for the Chiefs, Rashad Fenton, one of their better quarterbacks, Willie Gay, the linebacker here. Sammy Watkins not practicing with a calf. That's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that for tomorrow. But I think we're going to have to cover more about these games on Friday. So I'm going to kind of just go quickly over my start-sit charts with this. The Browns defense, it's very green. The Chiefs defense here got a couple red pieces, and they do allow a good amount of tight end points. So if you're looking at this game, Mahomes is easily the better quarterback play, probably the number 1 quarterback play of the weekend. I'm not sure, does DraftKings do just a Saturday game and then a Sunday split? I don't know if there's combined like the whole field, 4 games. But I'm taking Mahomes for sure over Baker Mayfield. Nick Chubb, I do like Nick Chubb. He's probably the best running back in this game for sure, but we got to watch that offensive line. If they're missing another 2 starters here, I might be nervous. This could be a Kareem Hunt game where he's catching passes. So I do like Kareem Hunt in PPR formats. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if he's going to be playing in this game, I kind of want to get a piece of him just because I guess the Browns do a decent job here against the running back, but a fresh Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that could be really nice for our lineups here. We do think the Chiefs are going to score some points. Just out of curiosity, let's just look at that spread real quick. So Chiefs, Browns, spread, speed. So this one's 10-point favorites for Kansas City, over under of 57. So there's going to be points to be had in this one. I think I'd like the winning team's running back. So if I'm weighing between Edwards and Kareem Hunt, that's really close. I think I'm going to lean Clyde just because it's the Chiefs' offense. Tyreek Hill, you're starting Tyreek Hill. Jarvis Landry probably needs to be started for sure. He's like the one Brown that I think I feel comfortable enough to get him in my lineup. Even as good as Nick Chubb is, there's still some questions about that offensive line and potential game script getting out of hand. Kelsey is the smash play for tight end for sure. If you want to pivot, go to Mark Andrews. Austin Hooper might be a nice tight end. He might be a top 4, top 5 tight end this weekend. So I do like him. Again, the Chiefs do offer up a decent amount of fantasy points to the tight end. So keep an eye on Austin Hooper. He's been playing better down the stretch. If you need someone on Higgins, he's a wide receiver 3 flex play at best. I don't feel comfortable about it. I just think I kind of want to stay away from the Chiefs in their second ranked position here. And if you're going to take a Browns receiver, we'll go Jarvis Landry. And then we gotta keep an eye on Sammy Watkins. If Watkins is out, that might make Mecole Hardman or Demarcus Robinson a what the heck flex for DFS lineups. But I think I'm most comfortable with the guys listed above Sammy for sure. And if Sammy's out, I don't know if I feel comfortable with it. But start the Chiefs defense for sure. Start Harrison Butker. We'll monitor these guys. I think we'll have a better idea on Friday here. But I'm going with the Chiefs. This one's kind of a no-brainer. Chiefs at home, banged up Browns offensive line. We'll see what happens there. So we'll move on to the Buccaneers and the Saints. This is the Sunday night 5:40 p.m. game Central Time. What's going on, Aid Man? Thanks for hanging out here. Let's see. Fire up your basketball question. I did say I wasn't going to be doing basketball questions, but for tomorrow night. But for you, I will do whatever you need. Let's see. It expires tonight. Yeah, man. Let's take a look at that. Go ahead and type that in there, and then I'll come back to it after I cover the Bucs Saints. So a couple minutes here. But Tampa Bay and the New Orleans Saints. We've seen 2 games between these teams. Saints dominated one game. Like, it was embarrassing for Tampa Bay. That first game of the year, it was closer, but it was still Tom Brady's first game with the new team and stuff. So, but it's very difficult for an NFL team to beat a team 3 times, in one season. So this might be I'm super glad that they put the Bucs Saints as the Sunday night cap, and then they put Bills Ravens as the Saturday night cap. I think they did a good job putting the 1 seeds early and the more entertaining, probably more shootout style kind of games at the nightcap here. So let's take a peek at those practice reports. I think from what I saw, both teams looked really good. Alex Kappa's been out for a while here. Ronald Jones, we're probably not going to see Ronald Jones. But this one, I guess, Jason Pierre-Paul is interesting, not practicing with a knee. This is just a backup defensive end here. But for the most part, there's really no big starters here besides Jason Pierre-Paul. It'd be nice to get Ronald Jones back, but I think Tampa Bay is going to have to pass the ball even if Ronald Jones plays. So we'll probably pivot to Leonard Fournette a little bit here. And then on the Saints side, let's see here. A couple did not practices, but it's Taysom Hill, Latavius Murray, Patrick Robinson. Trey Hendrickson is limited, their best, sack master there, 13.5 sacks this year. So he's probably trending towards playing. Jared Cook, Teron Armstead, both limited here. So again, because this game's Sunday, I'll be doing my Friday show at, I think, 1:00 p.m. on Friday. We'll be covering, the remainder of these games, looking back at the practice report. So I'll have a better idea come Friday. But just to kind of quickly look at this, I don't really know if we can even think about the 2 games that we've seen earlier this year. Both these teams are different. The Bucs offense is playing really good football. Tom Brady's that offense is humming right now with Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown. So I think that's going to be difficult to defend. I think that was Antonio Brown's maybe second or third game back with the Bucs. And they were just really forcing the ball a lot. So I think Tampa Bay does have a good shot here in terms of quarterbacks. Tom Brady, Drew Brees. I think I'm going to prefer – I'm probably going to go with Tom Brady. I like the passing volume on that side a little bit more. I don't expect them to run the ball very well. I don't expect Alvin Kamara to run the ball very well, but I do see Alvin Kamara being heavily used as a wide receiver weapon. So for the quarterbacks, give me Brady over Brees. For running backs, I'm taking Alvin Kamara, probably 101 for sure. And then Leonard Fournette's interesting because if he can get some volume in the passing game, he becomes an option there in PPR leagues. I think Michael Thomas is probably, if you're looking at Thomas, Evans, Godwin, Brown, Evans sits above those guys for me for sure. So go with Michael Thomas. And then after that, Evans, Godwin, that's kind of a coin flip. I do think I'm going to take Evans, it's going to go Thomas, Evans, and then I would definitely go Godwin, and then Antonio Brown becomes one of those interesting flex options, and then I'd probably put Emmanuel Sanders after that. So that's how I'm going to rank those guys. I think all the 5 receivers I just listed are viable options though for fantasy this week. Rob Gronkowski, boom bust tight end. I'd rather pay up for Kelsey. I'd rather pay up for Mark Andrews. Austin Hooper and Robert Tonyan might be the better pivots there. I think they got a little bit higher floor there as well. So that's pretty much the quick news and notes there. I don't know if I want to trust either defense in this one. I have a maybe for the Saints and a probably not for the Bucks. I think if you're looking at a defense on Sunday, just go with the Chiefs. Don't be cute. Just go with the Chiefs here. If I'm taking a kicker, I'll go with Will Lutz. This game's in New Orleans. That it just kind of favors the home kicker there. So I do think that is the favorable option. And then just some guys on the bench here. I don't know if we need to cover them, but I don't know. That's pretty much it for the Bucks and the Saints. And then we're gonna get into some fun here. But let's see here. So what's going on, MHP? Do I think there's going to be an upset this weekend? The football is good this weekend. If I'm calling an upset, okay, the Chiefs are not losing. I think that is locked. I think the Chiefs are going to win. Back to I think Green Bay is going to. I'm Rodgers is too hot. Rodgers, Packers coming off a bye. Everyone's healthy. The Rams are kind of coming in to a really cold Green Bay game. And yeah, you did mention Devontae Adams and Ramsey is interesting, but the Packers do a really good job of moving Devontae quite a bit. It goes all the way back to that Tampa Bay when Packers played Tampa Bay. I think they learned a lot about themselves in that game because Adams and Rodgers, like they were uncreative in that game, and Tampa Bay just feasted on it. And ever since that day, I've seen a very creative way of getting Devontae Adams the ball. So even though it is the Adams-Ramsey matchup, it might be 50% of Ramsey's job. So I do think they're going to capitalize on Adams there. But I think the guy that unlocks this game for the Packers is going to be Aaron Jones. Finding a way to get him the ball in space. He hasn't had a very good receiving statistical year, but I think this is the game with a really good pass rush like the Rams have. I want to see Aaron Jones get more involved in the passing game. So I'm taking the Packers and the Chiefs. Okay, so homers for the 1 seeds there. Now, this Ravens-Bills game, this one's a lot of fun. I like the way the Ravens are playing football right now. And that defense last week just completely shut down the Titans' offense really well here. Josh Allen, as good as the Bills, the Bills didn't really play that well last week. The Colts, I think, fumbled that game away. There's multiple, questionable play calls from the Colts side, whether it's kicking, going for that 4th down play at the end of the second half. They missed a field goal. They went for 2. The Colts should have won that game. So I didn't like how Buffalo played. They made enough plays to win the game here, but you can't make mistakes against the Ravens because they're gonna. You keep giving Lamar the ball and more chances, things are gonna happen. So my head says the Bills, but I'm not gonna be surprised if the Ravens win. So for me, I just really want to see that Kansas City Buffalo game. And then I think that if there's going to be an upset this weekend, I'm going to call Tampa Bay. The 5 over the 2. Tampa Bay is coming into this one. Their offense is humming. And the last time we saw the Saints Buccaneers, that left a really bad taste in the Bucs' mouth, I think. And they're going to come out. Tom Brady, you can't beat Tom Brady 3 times in a year. I don't know if that's ever been done before. So if there's going to be a gutsy call here, give me Tom Brady in the dome. I just like Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown. Now that Antonio Brown's finally revved up, I think this could be really fun. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. Otherwise, I guess give me the favorites in all the games. But the Ravens game, man, I'm kind of rooting for the Ravens just because I like the underdog situation there. So I'm not going to be surprised if both of those teams end up moving on here. So that covers the football. I want to cover Aiden's quick question real quick here. So we got offered Irving, Jamal Stewart, Gafford, Nwaba for Drummond, and Subic. So you got offered Irving, Jamal Stewart. I'm keeping Drummond and Vucevic here. I think that one's pretty simple. Those 2 studs compared to the other guys, I think that one's really simple. I'm going to stick with if those are the guys that you have, Drummond and Vucevic here. I'm going with Vucevic. So that one's pretty simple there for me, Aiden. But now that we got some time, I did want to shout out, I'm going to be doing, since I have time, we only got about a half hour into the show. So this is drafters.com. I did put a link in the description below. I'm going to try to get in a draft here. And so this is $1.10 to get in, and it's an entry out of 500 contestants. So I'm going to click into it. We're going to draft. I'll show you guys in a second here. I just want to make sure I get into it. So the draft is starting. And I just kind of want to show you guys the rules and the settings here. So we're drafting 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a tight end, and 2 flexes here. So this is fun. It's a little super flex draft. And now let's see here. I just want to show you guys. So we're drafting against. It's a 4-man draft, so we're drafting against 3 other people. We're drafting against 3 other people, and we get entered into a pool of 500 total drafts. In first place is going to be 150. You guys, if you want to play up more and get into some bigger lobbies, I have played in a couple. I mean, if you want to, you can go to the NFL tab. You can click on the $5.50 one. That's a little bit bigger winnings. But this is a lot of fun. So I'm looking to see where my draft is. So my draft starts in a minute. What's going on, Drake? Thanks for hanging out, man. Not even dressed. That's going to be Friday. So tonight I wanted to do the Buccaneers hat, but I'm trying to just stay low key. And I think Friday I'll be recording a show at 1 o'clock before I head to Chicago. We'll do the Tampa Bay hat tonight, Packers stuff on Friday. So here we go. We're doing a drafters.com draft. If you guys are new or interested in drafters.com, I mean, you can do this. They have NBA drafts going tonight. You can do best ball drafts. They have all kinds of different stuff here. I did put a referral bonus in the link below. If you put it's a 50% match bonus. So if you end up putting say $20 into it, they're going to match you with $10. So 50% match. It's a lot of fun. This is where I do all my best ball drafts in the summer for NFL. I did do a couple NBA ones, so I'll probably check on those after this tonight now that I'm thinking about it. But a little bit of a fun wrinkle because, DraftKings and FanDuel, they don't offer these where you actually get in a lobby and you draft against other people. So I like that a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to pick the right lineups for those, those typical games. Whereas this, I feel pretty comfortable about my knowledge and being able to draft good players here. So with this, how do we do this? So this one, how much we do it? This one's $1.10. It's just kind of fun, whatever. I did $1.10 one last week. We ended up winning $2. I would have won more, but John Brown got 0 points. So that one was a pretty good lineup here. But again, this is a super flex draft. So there's 8 games or 8 teams this weekend. So that means every quarterback's being drafted. So I do think it's more of an advantage for us to draft a quarterback early. So I can choose between Mahomes and Allen. I could consider getting a really good, running back or wide receiver, but I think the value here is with Patrick Mahomes. So I sent it on auto pick here. So I'm going to take Mahomes right away here. It's drafting already right now, but if you want to draft it right now, these lobbies are constantly filling up. You only need to wait for 4 total people to get in. And I can show you guys that interface again too. So I do have the link in the description for the YouTube video, but it'll ask you to sign up. It'll probably ask you to deposit a little bit. You'll get a 50% match, and then you're going to go to the lobby page. Let me see here. Let's get that lobby page rolling up. It's going to be at the top here too. So you see the ones in bold. So we're doing the splash. So out of 500 entries, they're going to keep going here. You can do a $1.10 entry, $5.50 entry, or you can do the shark with the $55 entry here. But there's also the NBA ones are fun. I've done a couple of nightly NBA lineups. If you're interested there, just click on NBA and then hit snake, and then all of them will show up. But a lot of different buy-ins. You can filter. There's a free one. I don't know what the prize pool is, but you can do $1.10. That's the lowest that they go. So check out drafters.com. It's a lot of fun. So just looking at the draft real quick here, I just realized that I did not have the screen share up the whole time. How silly of me. Now I feel stupid. But we're looking here on drafters.com. How stupid. I feel really dumb now. But Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Devontae Adams. Man, that's a bummer. Did I not have that up the whole time? I did not have the screen share up the entire time. Oh, no. Okay, well, mistakes were made. I got it figured out. When I have it on the computer screen, I only have the chat room showing on the side here. So I guess I missed that. It's the first time I've done that. So here we go. We're up to pick. I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers. We're locked in with Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes now. It does make sense, I think, to take a guy like Aaron Jones. He's probably the best running back available. We'll see if Cam Akers could get to us. I like those Bucs receivers for sure. So let's see here. Thoughts on the Harden trade? I'll probably talk a little bit more about the Harden trade tomorrow night, but for now, I mean, his value wasn't very good with the Houston Rockets to begin with, so I think his value should go up with the Nets. I mean, you took out Karis LeVert out of that situation too, so I'm going to pencil Harden in for those LeVert minutes, those LeVert stats, and hopefully he can build from there. So it's kind of Brooklyn paid a lot, I think, moving some of their good pieces away. So I guess it's going to be a little bit of a weekly thing with Harden to see if he can get back in the swing of things right away. But yeah, I do think Jared Allen did get screwed a little bit. I wonder if Cleveland's going to be doing something to move him, not to move him, but maybe they move another piece because their front court is nuts. Whether that's Kevin Love, Drummond, Larry Nance. Who am I thinking? I'm missing JaVale McGee. So they legit have 5 big dudes that could be starting, I think. So he did get screwed a little bit, but I mean, he was the number 2 in Brooklyn to begin with, and as long as Kevin Love's out, I think Allen's going to step into that number 2 role. So maybe his value dips a little bit, but for now, I think I'm just holding. And I don't know. I don't really have a lot of thoughts right now. I do like LeVert on the Pacers. I think that's kind of fun. But I don't know. I kind of want to just wait and just watch some of these games and see what's going on here. So we're almost up to pick here. We do have Mahomes, Rodgers. So we need basically everything but quarterback at this point. I'm so mad I didn't have a screen share going up the entire time. Oh my God, rookie mistake. So Godwin and Evans, we could just slap both those guys on this team and call it a day there at receiver. I do think Mark Andrews is a value here. I don't know if he's going to – maybe we gamble and see if Mark Andrews falls because I really like it says he's questionable, but Godwin's playing. He was limited. And then I'm just going to double down. Like Evans does not play well against the Saints. I think that's a given here, but this is playoff football. We'll see what happens. So we just locked in 2 Bucs receivers. We got Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Patrick Mahomes. I can't believe I didn't have the screen share up. Oh, man. Yeah, Hollywood's playing good. It looks like J.K. Dobbins is also available here too, so I'd like to get some Ravens exposure. I wouldn't mind getting Devin Singletary, sign me up. Clyde Edwards, sign me up. Probably Kareem Hunt, Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins. That's kind of where I'm looking here. If we get Mark Andrews, I'm feeling very good about this lineup because we basically punted on tight end here. No one's taking tight ends. So we got probably the best quarterback tandem of Mahomes and Rodgers. Probably just need one more running back. And if we can get Andrews and then pair him with a running back like Dobbins, I'm feeling really good here. So we are almost up to pick in 2 picks. Again, this is drafters.com. Since I'm an idiot and I didn't have the screen share up here, if you go to there's a description below. There's a link there. You're going to click on lobby once you sign up and enter your stuff. And then it's going to be, let me see here. It's just loading up here. We're on the deck here. So Landry Woods. Before I pick, I just want to show you. So this is where I was looking under the all tab in the bold here. They have a pool of about 500 total drafts are going to be entered in this. It's $1.10. You just click into there and hit submit for your draft, and then you go from there. And now we're just drafting against 4 people. So these guys messed up. They're giving me a pretty good tight end here, Mark Andrews. So we got some Ravens exposure here. I think I got to take J.K. Dobbins against Buffalo. This seems kind of stupid. I do like Kareem Hunt quite a bit. Hunt is kind of interesting here, 19.1, 5.1. He's kind of just, a teeter-totter at this point. So I'm going to go with J.K. Dobbins, who's a much more consistent guy for fantasy points. So we just locked in 2 starting running backs here with Jones and Dobbins. We got a pretty good receiver duo of Godwin and Evans. And we also have Mark Andrews. So I need 2 more picks left. It looks like here, actually 3 more picks. So we'll have another run of 2. But again, drafters.com. If you want to play some NBA lineups, maybe we'll do an NBA draft. Tomorrow night or next week, we'll kind of look at that. But you just click on NBA and then you hit the snake, and then all of these show up. And buy-ins are as cheap as $1.10. You can play $5.50, $11. It's a really good site, drafters.com. So if you're interested, just check that link below. But man, I can't believe I didn't have the screen share up. I'm an idiot. So that's disappointing. But we're almost up to pick here again. At this point, we just need 1 receiver, and we can kind of just look at, I could really gobble up some tight ends and make some other people a little bit nervous there for their tight end situation. I wish I could show Let's just change the view here. So Tunyon just got picked. So only 3 tight ends have been picked so far. So that's kind of interesting. We'll go back to this view here. Keep moving it. So we are on deck. Cole Beasley just went. In terms of receivers, Cooper Kupp, I don't know if he's playing. Ronald Jones, probably not playing. John Brown, I think he's going to play. Sammy Watkins, we're unsure of at the moment. I do think Leonard Fournette might be the best running back available here. So maybe I'll take Leonard Fournette. That could be kind of fun. Just looking around here. John Brown, though, man, he burned me last week. He got the 0 points last week, 17.2, 13.2, 17.9 the last few games he played. So John Brown is a little bit interesting here. It looks like Deontay Harris just got drafted. I could take another tight end like Austin Hooper. We did see that the Chiefs give up a fair amount of points to the tight end. But I think I can't pass on Leonard Fournette for sure. So we're just gonna take him as one of our worst players, put him at the flex, and then now let's see here. I do like some of these players deeper here. I'm wondering if I fill another flex position with Austin Hooper, but now to me it's between Sanders and John Brown. Last week Sanders only 2.3 points. I'm gonna go back to John Brown here, just because I think his ceiling is gonna be massive if he hits. So I'll go back to John Brown. He's playing his former team, the Baltimore Ravens, and that's our first Buffalo exposure there too. So I do like that. So far we have 1 Chief, looks like 2 Packers, 3 Bucks, 2 Ravens, and 1 Buffalo Bill here. So we'll kind of keep going and finish this draft out here. Yep. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if I could take Gabe Davis might be kind of fun. I could just group Davis and John Brown together and just say, get me, 15 points between the two of you and call that good. There's going to be some interesting plays down here as I keep looking. TJ Yeldon, I don't know about that. I mean, if I can get Sanders, I'll take Sanders there, with only 4 more picks to go. But I don't know. After this, I'll probably sign off here. I got some things to do this evening. I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't have the screen share open. I feel really stupid. I probably was just looking at the camera the whole time. So I appreciate you guys in the chat room. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I'll probably sign off in just a minute here. But Jared Goff, last quarterback taken, it looks like. So we'll recap here. We just missed on Emmanuel Sanders. Rashard Higgins, best receiver available. I don't think Cooper Kupp's going to play. So I can't. I could risk it. He's progressing through bursitis in his knee. While the wide receiver may not practice, there's a good chance he's ready. So Kupp picked up his injury and instead stepped on the foot. He played well enough. Interesting. So I guess that's kind of the gamble here. Should I take Cooper Kupp and say if it's a 0, it's a 0. If not, it's going to be 10 plus. Because I'll probably end up doing a couple more of these. I can't take receiver. It has to be a flex. Why isn't it let me take? I'm not up yet. So Sanders, Higgins. If I can take Cooper Kupp, I think I might do it. But I do like Lazard because I have Rodgers. Looks like Valdez Scantling got taken here. I could take Gabe Davis still. Maybe Gus Edwards. I have Edwards and Dobbins. Edwards didn't play very well last week, but it wouldn't surprise me if he plays well against Buffalo, a team that they're going to have to run hard against. So celeb shot here. Mecole Hardman, last pick of the round. I'm just going to take Cooper Kupp. If he doesn't play, he doesn't play. I'll take the 0. I still placed last weekend with a 0 from John Brown. So John Brown, just get more than a 0 this time, buddy, and we'll see what happens. But that's the draft. Really fun. You can do a bunch of these, NBA, MLB, whatever you need. So drafters.com. But again, I just feel so stupid. If you're still somehow made it to the end here, there's a link below that'll get you to the divisional round start sit charts. You guys kind of look at everything that I was talking about here. I'll be better next time, I promise. But for tomorrow night, we'll be going over our NBA, just a Thursday night hang around. You guys can come with questions. We'll probably talk James Harden, Nets, Pacers, Rockets, all that stuff. So we'll get into that. But I'm going to get out of here for tonight. Thank you guys so much in the chat room. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.